Today we're dealing with painting up a mean alien parasite that injects its hapless hosts with its offspring before they grow and burst out of it. No, not that one. We'll be painting up the Parasite of Mortrex from Warhammer 40k. We'll be taking this grisly gribbly from box to battlefield today. So keep your flamers handy, your powered exosuits at the ready, because my name is Ollie, and this is my hobby.
I have my building tools, snips, hobby knife, and Revell plastic glue at the ready. Let's get into this. The box is a little smaller than I was expecting. It's probably a little bit bigger than a Tyranid warrior once the model is fully constructed, but the wings do give it a lot more presence. Now the first thing we need to do is break the containment on this gruesome parasite. Everything you'd expect is in here: 40mm base, instruction booklet, and of course our lovely new sprue. The Parasite of Mortrex comes on a single sprue as a monopose kit. As ever, I'd recommend taking a look at the instructions before getting started, just in case there's any tricky areas. This kit doesn't really have anything too tricky, and it was pretty easy to put together with one notable exception. I'll be building him in my usual way, snipping out all the pieces I need for a particular panel of the instructions, and then cleaning those with my knife and sticking them together. I'm going to be time-lapsing most of the build for this particular model, but if you're interested in learning more of the basics of prepping your models, check out the video in the top right-hand corner of the screen right now, then come back to this one when you're ready. Now the main tricky area of the model is the wings. They have a slight gap at the bottom where they connect to the body. If you give them a quick push towards the body as your plastic glue dries, this should help to alleviate the issue somewhat. To finish, I superglue the model to the base.
With construction completed, let's go on to the priming stage.
When rattle can priming, be sure to give your can a good shake. You need to do this for longer than you think is necessary. Then you're going to give it an even coat from about 30 centimeters away. I prime my model up with Wraithbone spray, as I'm intending to use a series of washes and inks to give an organic look to the paint job. Now this is my first time using inks, and I'm also well out of my comfort zone painting models that are not in power armor, so this should be a fun experience. With priming done, let's go on to look at our first step, airbrushing. Now even if you don't have an airbrush, the same techniques apply for glazing colours with a brush. Just make sure you're patient and build up your colours slowly in multiple layers using thin paint. I'm starting out with the experimental parts of today's paint job. First off, I used cling film to mask areas while I'm spraying with the airbrush. As I mentioned during the priming stage, I'm using inks for the first time, in this case Liquitex Purple. I didn't want any purple on the wings, so I covered them up before beginning to spray. Now I'm a novice at using anything other than acrylic paint, and I really learned a thing or two about inks from this particular project. Now this purple is super dark, and I'd recommend thinning it down with water before attempting to put it anywhere but the darkest areas on your model. The cling film, however, is a great success, allowing flexible masking even on oddly shaped surfaces. I definitely recommend masking off areas in this way if you're using an airbrush. I'm also using an airbrush for the wings because I have an idea of how to give the impression of the wings being taut skin over its bony exoskeleton.
Ugh, gross.
I mixed up a weird blend of purple ink, white ink, black and Guilliman blue glaze paint into this slightly bluey grey.
My recommendation, just buy a blue-grey paint, as it's not really worth wasting all the paint trying to get the colour that I had here.
I added this all over the wings, then added some white ink into the mix. I turned down the pressure on my air compressor and sprayed the centre of the wings to indicate that they were stretched tight. This did dull down the blue of the wings, so I then came back in with a thinned blue paint to reinforce that colour. Next up was the real back-breaking part of the paint job, cracking out a paintbrush and blocking in all the bone details with Wraithbone. The ribs on the wings were a particular killer as they were hard to reach and close to my delicately airbrushed areas.
This step didn't actually take that long looking back at the footage, but the combination of highly detailed work and being very close to the delicate areas where I'd airbrushed made this a very tense process and made it feel really long. If you've picked up this model, did you tackle the wings in a similar way to what I did? And what hive fleet are you painting yours up as? Let me know in the comments down below.
However, once that was done, it was on to the fun part. I came in with a Reichland Flesh Shade wash over all of the bones. Unlike with my Wraithbone, I didn't need to be too careful here as I had a cunning plan for blocking out the shadows. Any overspill would also help sell the effect that this is a rapidly growing and evolving organism. Next, for the shadows on the wings, under the bones but also in the folds, I used my purple ink once again. This time I thinned it down to a workable consistency and it worked like a charm, allowing me real control over where I wanted shading to be applied. I then came in with Temple Guard Blue before switching to Celestra Grey for the highlights. Again, I positioned these on the raised skin folds, and the sharp edges and tips of the wings. I went back and forth with my highlight and shade colours until the wing was all done,
Or at least the back side of the wings was done, I still had to do the front.
Before tackling the other side, I decided to paint the black chitinous armour panels with Abaddon Black. Then, before getting into my rhythm on the inside of the wings, I also decided to blend the body and the wings together using a combination of little Wraithbone vein lines and then shading over using my purple ink and my Reichland Flesh Shade. I painted the barbed ovipositor,
Pretty sure this is gross.
with Moot Green and did the same to the inside of the mouth. This helped to set off some key areas against the dark purple. Then I went over all the claws with Wraithbone to sharpen them back up, focusing on the sharp edges. To finish this egg-slinging beastie, I painted tiny growth lines in blue on the black carapace and lightened up the purple using a combination of Xerius Purple and Demonette Hide. I'd have liked for the purple sections to be a bit lighter, but they just didn't seem to come back up with that dark ink. Lesson learned for next time, I suppose.
So all that's left is to take a look at this horrifying monstrosity, ready to create unwilling Ripper Swarm incubators in the 41st millennium. There you have it, Boxster Battlefield on the Parasite of Mortrex. If you did make it this far, please consider dropping a like on the video and sharing with your friends if you did enjoy it, as it really helps me know that people are enjoying these kind of videos. Also, let me know in the comments down below what you think I should paint as my next model in this series. In the meantime, my name has been Ollie, this has been my hobby, and I'll see you next time.